been action aplenty in the first two races of the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series at Queensland Raceway, and the drivers are getting set for the third and final race, the decider at the halfway point of the 2007 season. And Kane Scott, the Kiwi, will start from pole.
It's been a battle, I tell you. You know, when we first started in this class last year, we thought that we could get to the front, and to think it's taken this long is just incredible. You know, it's a really hard battle out there, and we're rapt to be up there.
How tough is it when you're racing against the likes of the Carusos, the Webbs, the D'Albertos? It's really tough at the top, isn't it?
It's tough in every formula, you know, but you come off such a good run at home in our domestic series with all of the victories there, and you think that you're going to come over here. We've got a great car, a great team, and we just haven't quite been able to nail it. So fingers crossed for a good result this afternoon.
Kane Scott has every chance of a great result this afternoon. He's starting from pole. Now the grid is an aggregate of races 1 and 2. Michael Caruso joins him on the front row of the grid. The best result by Shannon O'Brien so far this year. Keep an eye. Marcus Marshall has saved some good tyres for this last race.
Jonathan Webb, great job for him coming from the back of the grid in the first race to end up on row 6.
Dale Wood has been steadily improving. So too has been Damian White. A quiet weekend for Jay Verdnick in the GIO Commodore, and Wayne Wakefield, a local who knows this circuit very well, but in an older model car.
Robert Jones, a fair way back. He finished 6th at Winton. He's struggling for pace this weekend.
Starts from 26th. Grant Denyer from 30th. Had a disastrous last race. And Marcus Sakanovic and Andrew Thompson starting at the rear of the field. Oh, they've got together in the first two races. They've got one more to get through. It's a slightly longer race at Queensland Raceway. And again, it's Michael Caruso with the best jump off the grid.
Kane Scott really missed it. Not only did he miss it, but when he got it going, broke into wheel spin, and that's allowed Yulden and O'Brien to really close up on the back of him.
They take it easy through turn 1, sorting themselves out. It's a slightly longer race, and you'll find that a lot of the drivers have saved some good tyres for this third and final race. The exit of turn 2, Jose Fernandez out wide, eye spin, back across the circuit, and that's Marcus Marshall, who really was, well, he was an innocent bystander there.
He wouldn't have known what hit him. He would have just been minding his own business. Jose's dropped a couple of wheels in the dirt, and he's taken the front off Marcus's car. Looks like he's out of the race.
Oh, that's such a shame. Marcus Marshall, his second round for the Matthew White team this year, building his miles before Sandown and Bathurst, and also racing the Carrera Cup Porsche this weekend. Such a shame.
Looks like it's taken the left side of the front bumper off that car. He's definitely out.
Jonathan Bykoff and Gary Dean down at turn 4. Here's Marcus Sakanovic putting a move on Robert Jones, trying to work his way back through the field. Up front, though, Michael Caruso. Look at the gap already on this first lap.
Well, he's gone, and Yulden and Kane Scott will be trying to get over that start. He'll be trying to get his head down, focus, get some temperature in the tyres, and press on. But Luke Yulden's looking for a result here. Great job for him this weekend in the BA, and he's menacing Kane Scott, looking for a way by.
The replay of the start from the rear of the field, it gets pretty busy. And Damian White was slow to get away. In fact, he stalled the Select TV Commodore on the grid. And here's that replay at turn 2. Fernandez drops to left rear, and from there on, he really was a bit of a passenger.
Looks like he's kept his boot into it. When the thing's gone out onto the dirt here, you see it's kicked up a rooster tail, and it's just driven that car back over to the left side. He's a passenger in it as well. It's taken over, hit Marcus.
Matthew, looked like Marcus was an innocent bystander in that incident.
So he tells me. Yeah, look, the car spun in front of him, and he just had nowhere to go and got cleaned up, which is a bit of a shame because it's been a pretty good weekend for us so far.
What sort of damage is he reporting back?
I won't repeat what he said, what damage to the car, but my understanding is the spoilers under the front wheel and terminal.
The safety car pulls in, and Michael Caruso leads us away to restart race 3 at Queensland Raceway. He had some really good pace in the first segment of this race, Brad Jones, and he looks like he's going to be able to carry that on.
I think you're right, but the other thing this has done is given everyone a bit of time to settle down. Pace car comes out, you get a bit of a breather, you get focused, you start getting ready to attack. As Shannon O'Brien, we see him racing up to Yulden here, really runs up to that car into turn 2.
Stop down at turn 3. O'Brien sits 4th. There's Tony D'Alberto, a championship leader. We haven't seen too much of him this weekend. Of course, this is away from home. His home test track is at Winton, the last round, where he was very, very strong, but just hasn't had the outright pace this weekend.
And he's got Jonathan Webb behind him. It makes you wonder if he had have started second where he qualified the car originally, exactly where Jonathan Webb would be in this race. He's certainly had the speed. He's come from back to front. but he hasn't quite got to the pointy end now. Very disappointing weekend for Jonathan Webb's team, I should think.
Tim Slade and John McIntyre, they were in the reverse positions in the reverse race. Tim Slade took the lead there before Kane Scott got by, but he's been very impressive this weekend, and I know Matthew White is very impressed with the young Formula Fordster, but John McIntyre's putting some good pressure on him. Black flag for Damian White in the Select TV Commodore. He reports into pit lane.
Shaking his head a little bit inside the car there. It's been a terrible weekend for Damian White.
Now we're hearing that he's picked that up because the car didn't start under its own power on board with Grant Denyer. Making a move on Jay Vernick, the young South Australian, and Grant's by on the run to 4. Look at Marcus Sakanovic. He pounces as well to steal a spot.
And for Marcus, it's a weekend of what could have been. He's had very good pace in that car, but unfortunately, he and Andrew Thompson have made contact a number of times, and neither of them have really benefited from it.
Oh, there's a drama. There's a touch there. There's 3 cars off. Grant goes to the sand to avoid it all. Now, Mark McNally in the Nomad Commodore there. Sam Walter was involved, and Grant's going to escape, but that really just rounds off what's been a terrible weekend to come back. No jokes inside car 77.
No, he looks pretty focused, though. By this stage, usually people are rolling their eyes.
Oh, well, it's a case of who was hitting who there. Ashley Cooper was up the inside. Sam Walter escaped from the drama.
Mark McNally's just turned in there, and really 3 cars trying to get into the one position. It was never going to happen.
Here's another angle. McNally car 74. Cooper makes a move up the inside, and Sam Walter was looking for a pass as well, but it was Cooper who actually hit McNally. There's a touch from Walter on the way through, and poor Grant Denyer, wrong place, wrong time.
And I think Mark's had a look to see, and Cooper's back a bit at that point where he's looked, he's turned in, he's out a little bit wide, he's left a bit of a hole there. Cooper's dived in, and of course there's been contact, and the 3 of them all going in different directions. But here's our leader, Michael Caruso. What can you say? He's done a fantastic job in this race. He's got a good little buffer. He'd be feeling pretty comfortable at the moment, just counting the laps down, waiting till the end.
He came into this round with a 48-point margin to the championship leader, Tony D'Alberto, so he's going to peg back a couple on the Holden driver, but great drive from Kane Scott. This is a replay in turn 2. Sam Walter, who we saw involved in that drama a little earlier, out through the sand, keeps the foot into it, but then gets on the brake to make sure that he doesn't roll straight back onto the racing line. Jim, Grant can't seem to get any luck at all, but things are working well for Michael.
He was making really good progress through the field, and I caught up to somebody down in the bottom corner here who was going pretty slow, and then he turned around in front of him, left Grant with nowhere to go, and except into the gravel, I think. So, yeah, it hasn't been a perfect weekend. He's got plenty of pace, but things just haven't gone right.
Here's the fight for 3rd overall. Luke Yordan hanging on from Shannon O'Brien, but Shannon's got some real pace. Oh, Colin Cedars making a mistake at 6 and just got it all wrong.
Something you don't often see. He's heading back in the other direction to do a U-turn so he doesn't lose too much time. Pretty smart, really. But Shannon O'Brien, really good turn of speed. Certainly fast through 4 and 5, the middle section of the circuit, and he's going to give Luke Yordan plenty to think about in the rest of this event.
Michael Caruso leads. We'll go to the checkered flag after the break. The sun is setting at Queensland Raceway, but it certainly is not in terms of the on-track racing. The fight for 3rd place between Luke Yordan and Shannon O'Brien continues. There's a touch at turn 6, Brad Jones.
Well, you'd have to say that was certainly on the cards. There'd been plenty of niggle between the 2 of them. There'd been a bit of touching and bumping, but of course, you just can't turn someone around like that. So I have no doubt that Shannon O'Brien's going to get a drive-through penalty. He'll be angry with himself. He probably just wanted to give him a little bit of a tickle up and a push on, but it just got out of hand. Yordan loops to the car around. O'Brien goes through, but he'd be not very happy inside the car. Neither of them would be, in fact, because I have no doubt there'll be a drive-through penalty issued for that.
Now here's another replay down at turn 5. Jose Fernandez making a move on Dean Neville, but just drifted back across and then looked like he just spun across the bows of that car.
Bit hard to understand what he was thinking there. He could see Dean on the outside. He certainly wasn't clear of him, but he was driving like he was, and a little bit of touch in the back. Around goes Jose.
Mark McNally's another retirement from this race. There's a problem with the cooling system.
I was having a good race, really coming through the field. Was pulled up alongside one of the cars out there, and basically we went side by side through 4 and 5. There's a little bit of rubbing, but it was door handle to door handle. I don't think they were very impressed and served me up in the last corner.
So Mark McNally out of this race. Andrew Thompson trying to fight his way back through after that post-race penalty from race 1. And this is their home track, Howard Racing at Queensland Raceway. Speaking to Warren Davis, the team manager this weekend, and he said they had a very good test. They're expecting much bigger things.
They'd be very disappointed at the result and the way things have gone for them this weekend. Just goes to show you the competition's so tight here now. It doesn't take much of a change, much of a switch for things to go wrong, and for them to have 2 bad races. And here we have Shannon O'Brien serving the drive-through penalty that we mentioned earlier. There was no doubt that this was going to happen. That will unfortunately drop him a long way back in the pack. He'll go from 3rd to outside the top 20.
And that costs him a shot at a potential podium. So while he resumes somewhere down around 20th spot, there's a fight here between Mark Howard, Jay Verdnick, and tucked in behind there, one of the Sydney Star Commodores as well. But Andrew Thompson, he was one of the real favourites for this championship coming into 2007, but simply some mistakes, some mechanical dramas, and some pure bad luck have really worked against him.
Hard to know what's gone wrong for Andrew. Everyone tipped him to be the guy to win the championship this year, but it just hasn't been able to get the job done for a number of different reasons, as you mentioned. And disappointing, really. A lot of the team owners have been looking at him. He was fast at Bathurst last year, grabbed everyone's attention, and just hasn't seemed to be able to go on with it this season.
Tim Slade under some pressure from Dale Wood in the Greg Murphy Racing Commodore. He gives him a little nudge down there at turn 6, and Adam Sharp, the Englishman, just in behind there. He's off to the UK to go racing at the completion of this round, and Aaron McGill giving Grant Denyer a real hurry up. Drew Russell just tucked in behind there, the young teenager from Newcastle who's in just his 3rd weekend or 2nd weekend in a V8 Supercars. Kept his nose relatively clean, but it's been a really miserable weekend for Grant Denyer. He's going to be back in this car for the rest of the championship, the next round at Oran Park, which has been home ground for Ford Rising Stars over the last few years.
And Grant will certainly be hoping to get a better result there, just outside the top 20 at the moment. And just as you said, a nightmare weekend. It's certainly not what he was looking forward to at the start of the weekend when I spoke to him, and let's hope that he can get a good recovery going after Oran Park and get those results that he's searching for.
Good fight here. David Cedars with John McIntyre. And David Cedars has had a lot of dramas this year with reliability. He's got a new engine on board this weekend and has reported that it's so much nicer down the straights not to be hosed away by everybody else. He's got a good turn of speed.
Sakanovic working his way through the field, down the inside of Wakefield. Oh, bit of a brake lock up there.
Oh, another lock up there, and a small touch from Wakefield as Wayne got to the point where he had to turn into turn 3, so that pretty much sums up Marcus's weekend.
Well, he just got in too deep and couldn't stop the car. Of course, when they're locked, they won't turn. He's just had a shocker.
I guess if there's a positive... Oh, this will be good. Andrew Thompson, his old buddy here, is right up behind him. But I was going to say that I guess if there's a positive to take away is that this is the most outright pace we've seen from that car this year.
They're very competitive. It's one of the best job Marcus has done, I think. He's feeling comfortable in that car again, and I think we'll see more of him at Oran Park.
A fight between some of the older model AU Falcons, Jonathan Bykoff, Aaron McGill, and Colin Cedars there looking to run up the inside into turn 4.
Well, this has got, I was going to say, this has got contact written all over it.
And around goes Aaron McGill at turn 5. He spins to the inside of the circuit. Damian White goes through it. I heard a very off-sounding car go past, and it was Damian White. He's got some sort of an engine problem there. I'm not too sure, but Aaron McGill manages to resume in the older model AU Falcon, and Jonathan Bykoff resumes as well, so they can start round 2.
They've just Bykoff's just gone out a bit wide there. He's touched the front of McGill, and that's sent both cars spearing off the track in different directions. Let's have a bit of a look at this here. Bykoff's gone out to take his normal line, hit the front of McGill, spun them both around.
And Colin Cedars picks up 2 spots as easy as he'll ever get there.
Yes.
Michael Caruso has been unstoppable in the Ford Rising Stars Falcon this weekend. He's on the last lap at Queensland Raceway. And in the bigger picture, Brad, this is the perfect result for him this weekend. He needs to start eating into that championship margin.
He would have spent the last 10 laps of this race looking around, because you can see the cars come down the other straight, working out where D'Alberto was and trying to work out how many points he's catching up. He's doing a great job this weekend, and he needs to keep on winning. That's the very best he can do, and just see what happens with D'Alberto and see if the pressure knocks him around.
Michael Caruso has been recently announced to join WPS Racing. He and Grant Denyer will drive alongside Max Wilson and Jason Bargwanna, Cub Sandown and the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 come October. But today at Queensland Raceway, no one has been able to touch the Ford Rising Stars Falcon. Michael Caruso clinches race 3 at Queensland Raceway and takes his 2nd round win of 2007. A very happy team on pit wall there. Dave Patterson, race engineer for Michael Caruso there with the team. A great drive, a great result in race 3. We'll be back after the break to wrap things up. The job's done for Michael Caruso at Queensland Raceway, and he's a very happy man. He takes the round win, clear of Kane Scott and Tony D'Alberto. Caruso 2 points clear of the Holden driver. Tim Slade, a career-best performance. He takes 4th for the round, ahead of Luke Yilden and Shannon O'Brien. But Michael Caruso's very happy because he knows the next round is at Oran Park.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to that all year, and I hope I've got something special to bring out there, because I really need it.
3 rounds to go in the 07 Fujitsu Series, and Tony D'Alberto leads the way by his 47 points. This weekend's been a good one. Tim Slade has moved from 9th to 5th.
Yeah, it's been a good weekend. We sort of struggled early on, qualified the car well, but just didn't look after my tyres in the first race, and it sort of set us back. But really happy with the car in the last race, and just happy to be on the podium again.
So Michael Caruso takes his 2nd round win in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series in 2007. The next round is at Oran Park Raceway. There's 3 to go. It's on August 17 to 19. It's a home track. He was on pole there last year. V8 Extra next Saturday here on 7 at 1 p.m. with Mark Beretta, and all the latest in V8 Supercar racing before we see Carrera Cup back on screen next Saturday at 1:30 p.m. That's round 4 here from Queensland Raceway at Ipswich. So the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series is far from over, with Caruso closing in on D'Alberto, and he's got him in his sights.
Nowhere near over, Tony.
On behalf of Brad Jones, I'm Aaron Noonan. We'll catch you next round.